Welcome to the Hidden Why podcast. This is episode 1031, my interview with Dom Farnan, and we're talking about conscious leadership. Enjoy. Hello, Dom. Welcome to the Hidden Why podcast. Great to have you here today. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Lee. Nice to be here.
You're almost a fellow Aussie, aren't you, really? Being married to one?
Almost, yeah. Been there several times.
That's awesome. And you're from California. Tell us a bit about your day.
Yeah, I'm from California. I was just living on the East Coast for 5 years. We just moved back to Laguna Beach. So the OC, it's really beautiful. It's kind of a heat wave right now. So it's probably 85 degrees here. I think, what is that, like in the 30s for you guys or somewhere around? No, 20s. I can never
figure out the conversions.
Yeah, probably nice somewhere around there. Yeah. That's
cool. And so probably early afternoon for you or mid-afternoon, something like that. Yeah.
It's 4:30 here. You're my last conversation for the day, and I have a nice little dinner date for my 10-year wedding anniversary tonight.
Oh, lovely. Where are you going?
Well, randomly enough, we're going to a restaurant called Harley that is a new restaurant in town, but it was the old first restaurant we ever went on our first date to. So I don't know how that all worked out, but it'll be good.
That's cool. Yeah, nice. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Good milestone. So let's just talk about a little bit about your career. You're the founder and CEO of Dot Connect. You've also the founder of Path Connect. So really finding exceptional people is what you do in the recruitment space and working with organisations as well to help them better improve, I suppose, their teams. As far as I understand anyway. But you give us a brief about, your career and how you got here and what you're currently doing.
Yeah, so I'm probably pretty atypical for a recruiter background. I started my career when I was 17, so I've only ever just recruited. I've been working in this industry for 20 years now.
Yeah.
And what led me to starting my team and really founding Dot Connect was my solopreneur career started to take off, and I really kind of hit capacity and burnout in 2018 and decided rather than just fold it all up and change careers, why not take what I know, expand my clients to bring in people who I can train up on the tactics of recruiting and the soft skills that it takes. And so that really birthed my business back in 2019. And we're about 90 people now and growing globally. Yeah. I have an amazing team of sourcers in South Africa and Africa, and the rest of us are all over the US.
Okay. So when did you found the company, Dot Connect?
On paper, 2012, just for me, for my own company. And then 2019, I built my team.
Okay. And so you're running as a solopreneur for many years, I guess 6 years or so.
Yeah.
Doing your thing, and what just felt fatigued and burnt out after that?
Yeah. And then after that, I just leveraged my network. So I went to the 9 clients that I had and I pitched them on me bringing in my quote unquote team. I hadn't really identified my team at that point. However, I knew I could pull together talented people to help me. And so that's what I started to do and really poured a lot of my energy into, expanding my offering to those existing clients, really ensuring that the team that I trained up was able to deliver as a senior level recruiter like I was.
Yeah.
There was a lot of hard lessons along the way. And then, COVID hit and it was a very sketchy time. Nobody was hiring. So we weathered the storm, made it out to the other side. Last year grew a lot. And now, we're, like I said, on a really strong trajectory. And in those years, I started on my own personal healing journey and just going from my burnout to looking inward, doing my own self-healing work, working with coaches, doing a variety of different healing retreats on tons of different modalities like breath work and plant medicine. And that really just expanded my consciousness and awareness and led me to bringing back this movement that now is redefining my own corporate culture and helping to weigh in on the company's cultures that we're building.
Yeah, wow. I want to delve into that. Firstly, just going back to the recruitment part, I mean, you've worked for some fairly significant companies. A lot of people would be aware: Snapchat, Samsung, Zendesk. So they're fairly common names, probably a bunch of others as well. Working in recruitment, how do you Because I guess we've got listeners out there that are small business owners or small operators and maybe need to recruit an employee or maybe need to improve their recruitment strategy as a total. Where do we begin as far as finding the best people for our goal or company?
Yeah, I think a good place to start is to look at yourself and understand your values as a human and as a business, and make sure you have those flushed out and they're very clear. And then build the profiles of the talent that you're trying to attract, aligning with those values. And it may not always be, it's not as easy as just black and white skills and role responsibility and requirements. You have to kind of think a bit more holistically. What is this person going to own and work on, but what are they also going to learn when they're in the role for your company? In some cases, it's hard, I think, for people who have maybe smaller businesses to really take a step back and understand where their gaps are, or, maybe do a skills assessment on themselves, what they're good at, what they're not good at, what they enjoy, what they don't enjoy, what they want to own and delegate. And those types of things to begin with are a good jumping off place. But I think it all just starts and gets rooted in values to begin with.
So matching the values?
Matching the values, like ensuring values alignment, and then even your job descriptions as you're defining it out to the market, put your candidate hat on and think about, if you were the person reading the job description, would they want to come and work for you? Does it sound exciting? Because if you're saying really boring things about your company and what they're going to do on their day-to-day, chances are you're not going to spark a lot of interest. So, think from the opposite vantage point as you're writing your job description and really flesh it out. But start with, what is your mission? What are you here to do? What's your vision? What are the values that support that mission and vision? And what do the people who you're going to hire, need to embody to do well in your company? So we focus a lot in my company. One of our core values is growth mindset. So I look for people who do things outside of recruiting. What are you doing? Are you podcasting? Are you a YouTube creator? Are you, a LinkedIn influencer? Like whatever it is that's interesting to you, that's not just your day job bucket, is showing me that you're wanting to try different things, or that you're wanting to grow in a different way. And that aligns with our values.
How do you determine the values? I mean, is that something that you find a lot of businesses don't have?
I found a lot of businesses will say that they have values, or they'll put them on their website, or they say that they're mission driven. But when you get into working with them, what they say and how they behave are two different things.
Yeah.
So, one book that we read and reference, and we actually send it to our clients now, it's called The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. And that really helps to begin a process of positive change and relational and organizational resolution. So we have like these commitments that we live by and our guiding principles. And then, we embody those behaviors within our company and how we operate and how we show up. And we send the book to our clients and we share the word, and we hope that it impacts them and creates a ripple effect. So you kind of have to be the change that you want to see in our world. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that. Any major hurdles you come up against in recruiting for these companies? Like, is there any common things that you think you've found that we could all benefit from listening and learning from?
Yeah, I think not a lot of people actually have ever formally been trained on hiring or interviewing. There's a lot of people who interview and hire a lot of talent, but they've never actually taken a step back to create defined questions that are standard, or put their process on paper to ensure that it's unbiased, fair, and equitable, and you're treating everybody with dignity and respect throughout your process from day one. So I see a lot of that. I see a lot of people who are just rushing to fill seats, but not thinking holistically about being intentional in their process and thinking about creating an experience for somebody who they're trying to call into their company.
Why do you think that is, that they don't have those defined?
A lot of times it could be startups or, small businesses, not super sophisticated. They don't know, but there are tons of resources online that you can Google anything these days and get, here's a a handbook for questions for salespeople or marketing or whatever it is that you're looking to hire for. It doesn't matter the function. There are resources out there that you can template and, reinvent to support your own business. It doesn't have to be something that you create from scratch. Sometimes you may think it's overwhelming to create a defined interview plan. I've never done it before. If you Google it, you get a template, plug it in for your business, apply your values, and boom, it's done right there for you.
Yeah. Is there an easy way to determine a company's values, or is it just,
I think it starts at the leadership level.
Yeah.
The founder, the CEO, the executives, they need to know. They need to set the tone. They need to say what's important to them and why. If you look at all the big companies, like Amazon, it's like customer obsession or customer first. Every day is day one, and whatever their values are that they're calling out. But that was set by Jeff Bezos and his executive team, and it's pretty steadfast. It doesn't always change over time. So, I think it's a good place for you, even just as a human, personally, take a step back and think about what are your values.
Yeah.
Time freedom, creative freedom, flexibility, family time, financial abundance, whatever they are, put them down on paper and then think about, how does your team member need to exhibit those values in their daily life, in the job that they're doing for you, and the decisions they're making for your company, and what's in support of that. Because once you're grounded in that, it's really easy to make choices.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, we talk a lot about values on the show here, particularly on the individual level. And it's just something that, sometimes you connect with and then you sort of it goes to the wayside because you're just caught up in the everyday busyness of life, aren't you? And I think that's on the company level too. You get caught up in all the tasks, but don't sometimes focus on the bigger picture stuff, which is very important.
Yeah.
Time consuming, which is probably why a lot of people put it off, I imagine.
Yeah, but it's also going to be more cost effective because when you make the right hire, they can transform your business and grow it and make more money and create more impact or whatever the goals are. If you make the wrong hire and you let them sit in your company, it's going to cost you 15 times their annual salary to keep them around or deal with what mess they're leaving you when they exit your company.
Yeah. And what's your philosophy on, hire fast and fire faster? I know it sounds kind of negative, doesn't it?
I think it's spot on. I didn't really believe it until I had to start scaling out my own team. I was always the person who was the recruiter recruiting for companies that were hiring, not ever hiring for my own company. So my philosophy has evolved quite a bit. Yeah. I probably used to be the recruiter that was not pushing to make the decision, but pushing to really think about making the right decision with intention and pushing along a process. However, now I definitely am more about finding the right fit, finding the right cultural contribution and cultural add to your organization, looking for people who maybe have non-traditional backgrounds or don't even have any direct experience in your industry to bring a fresh perspective and growing your team intentionally out like that and looking at like the sum of all players.
Do you think that's a clever way to go, hiring without experience? Because personally, actually, I've just put someone on that didn't have experience in this field, and so far, amazing,
Yeah, no, I think so. So we have like a two-pronged approach. So Path Connect, one of my businesses, is our technical recruiter accelerator boot camp. And so we hire junior and then we train them up through Path Connect. And it's usually like a 12-week program, and we're building out other programs, non-technical recruiting, sourcing, different capabilities across our entire organization. That's one way to grow your talent. And then the second way is really look for career pivoters. So I have a senior level team, and a lot of the hires that we've made at that level come from career pivots. Some of them never ever worked in recruiting until they worked here. And we've taught them the nuances of our industry and what we do. But it's actually great because they come to the table with fresh ideas, innovation, different perspectives, customer personas that we think through in scenarios. And so I found that, looking at career pivots and also juniors and growing them up your way has been really successful.
And success rate wise, I guess it varies, but I assume as a professional recruiter, you'd probably have a higher success rate, but is there sort of an average that you think, of the total of, the 100% people we recruit, 80% last or 20% last? Or is it case by case?
I mean, when it comes to our clients, it really varies case by case. When it comes to our own company, we probably have 10% turnover or lower. And my teams, they've kind of grown and evolved and changed roles. And we're really focused this year on looking at right people, right seats with the right skill sets who actually get it and want it and can do it well.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it depends on the industry too. So it is a bit of a journey, recruitment, and then moving forward, you talk about bringing consciousness into the workplace. Just define, what does that mean exactly you're talking about there?
Yeah, so when I think about it, I think conscious leaders, make decisions and they have choices every day, and they can be in their emotions and they can react to things, and they can be constantly knee-jerking and just have high stress and anxiety and project whatever gets projected onto them, like most normal quote unquote bosses do. But when you're conscious, you are choosing to be mindful of your responses and intentional about how you communicate and how you show up. And it's hard work. I've been on my conscious leadership journey for about a year now. I've been on my inner work and healing journey for 2 years now. And I always joke, I say it's called inner work. It's not inner party. Like, it is hard ass stuff that you do when you're looking inward and you're trying to figure out like why you are the way you are, or what happened when you were a kid that made you this way or that way, or all of these different elements of your life and layers of things that you sort out. But I will say that for me, being on this journey of becoming a conscious leader and really committing to these values and principles has transformed my life, my marriage, my relationship with my son, and my business. And, we probably wouldn't have been able to grow as much as we've been growing and working on the projects that we're working on, with the people that we're working with the team that we have, if I wasn't on this journey. If I was still a corporate, toxic, control freak, micromanagement, psycho boss like I was in 2019, we wouldn't have a company. Like, we just wouldn't. I already know that.
Well, at least you're honest, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot of self-reflection and a lot of like being real. And it's ugly. Like, I've had a lot of tough moments where I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that, or I was like that, or I made that person cry, or I yelled at them, or and I'm not perfect. I still have my moments. I still get in my feelings and have a freak out or whatever, or project if I get projected on. But at least now I have a lot of awareness, and I do try and be mindful, and I do try and embody the things that I'm learning and bring that back to my team so that they can really focus on being calm, centered, and balanced. And we can show up as calm, conscious connectors instead of like crazy, frazzled, reactive recruiters who, are stressed out all the time. Like, that's what people think a lot of times when they think of recruiters.
Really? Yeah. So really this level of consciousness you're talking about is making sure the leadership teams are conscious individuals, so that they can better lead their teams without being sort of run off external values or ego or things like that.
Yeah. And I think, the first commitment they talk about in the book is really just taking full responsibility for the circumstances of your life, your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being, and then committing to supporting others to take full responsibility for their lives. So like, I really live that. I have affirmations that I say, and one of them is that I'm the creator of my reality. And right now my reality is amazing. And I'm like shocked, and I'm in awe every day of this world that I'm creating for myself and others. And so I do feel full responsibility. And now I'm living that and committing others on my team to also take ownership of their situations and their lives and feel empowered. And just opening that awareness for them has been so expansive. And I read what my team writes every day in our automated updates report. And, there's so much gratitude. They're talking about their family life, their health, their mental health, their passions outside of work, all of these things. And they're really owning it. They're owning their like circumstances of their life, which makes me really proud.
It's funny you say that. I remember in one of the first corporate reviews I had when I was in corporate, they asked about goals, and I sort of brought some personal stuff into it, and they sort of disregarded that and said, no, we didn't want you to bring that into it. And I was just like, oh, okay. But in hindsight, I think that was something that, you needed in organizations, because, again, what's your leader there for if they're not here to help you grow personally? Because if they can grow you personally, then they're going to grow you better for the company, Like, it just made sense to me, but it wasn't how things were done.
Yeah, well, and you're one human being. You're not two. You're not, Lee at work and Lee at home. That was my big awakening, was in January 2021. I was talking to my coach and I was like, Angie, I'm really tired of posturing and being Dom at work and Dom at home. I just want to be one human and show up 100% the way that I am. And I want people at work to love me and accept me for how I am there, and vice versa. I don't want to have to wear all these different avatars to deal and play corporate politics. I'm done with it. Yeah.
And I think I've had that sort of realization too in my career. But as soon as you can be comfortable being yourself at work or at home, same person, geez, it's just so much better immediately anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, no, totally. It's expansive, and the world just opens up for you, and you can see and experience so much more.
But people appreciate that too. So, unless you're a real asshole or something, I think, people will appreciate you showing up as yourself.
Yeah, no, they do. They do. And they give you more. Today I had a conversation with one of my sourcers in South Africa. We're talking about this leadership course we're going through together, and we're accountability buddies. So we get on the call, we talk about the course for like 2 minutes, and then we just caught up. How are you? What are you working on? What's interesting to you right now? Oh, he just moved. He's a DJ. He has a new girlfriend. He's so happy, blah, blah, blah. Like whatever it was. And then we just spent the rest of the time just connecting. And he said, you know what? I know we're supposed to talk about the course, but it was just really good to connect with you. I'm so happy you took time to spend with me. I'm like, Of course. Like that's what you need to do.
Human to human.
Human to human. That's it.
So you said, like, working on this yourself, consciousness and inwardly reflecting, just trying to navigate that for the audience's benefit. What was the challenge? Because you said it's hard. Like, what is hard about looking inward?
You have to be ready for what comes up, and it's not always pretty. So one of my most transformative healing experiences, I was in Tulum doing holotropic breath work, which is a pretty intense form of breath work. And, I was in this group with like 40 people, men and women. We're all laying down with our eyes closed. And you start to drop into this breath work, and, your consciousness changes a little bit. You get lightheaded or whatever. I'm starting to see visuals and flashbacks of things in my life and things I haven't thought about in years. And I'm crying, and everyone's crying around me. And you're just like, whoa, what the? But after that, you come out of that experience and you start to unpack it and you start to integrate it a little bit. And that's when the changes start to happen. And that's when, you realize more things about yourself. So I think when you dive into inner work and healing, and it's hard because you're facing yourself, and some people don't want to do that. And they choose to suppress and do other things that numb their feelings. I did that. In COVID, I was drinking a lot more than I ever drank in my life, and doing other things. Like, you do things to just numb yourself so you don't have to feel your feelings, because when you are in your inner work, a lot of stuff comes up, and you just have to be ready. And you have to have self-acceptance and know, like, hey, that came up, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong. You're all right. You're safe. You're loved. You're perfect as you are. And you just have to have the tools for that. You got to start slow and be curious.
Where do you start? Like, with trying to figure out this, consciousness. I think it, regardless of whether you're in the workplace or not, as an individual level or as a leader, it's important to do this work, because as soon as you take responsibility for your life and understand who you are, the better you can manage it too. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, one of the greatest books I read twice was Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. He does a lot of retreats and meditations and stuff, but the book is good. It's a little dense. He's the chiropractor, so there's a lot of sciencey terms in there, but you can get through it. And it's amazing because it talks about opening the frontal cortex of your brain for neuroplasticity and literally rewiring your thought patterns and processes and breaking the habit of being who you are and becoming who you want to be, someone new, like shedding your old stuff and being in service to the new you. So that was a really transformative book. I also loved The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. That was a really good one. Another like kind of intense read. I had to read it twice, but that's a good one to just drop into some of your inner work and presence. And, I have a laundry list of books, but I would start with Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. That one really like took the lid off for me.
Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I'll stick that in the show notes. I haven't read that one.
Yeah, it's good. My husband read it. He's still kind of hobbling along reading it, but it's interesting. It's one of those books that you read, and then once it clicks for you, you tell everyone about it, and you get, word of mouth going and a little fire started for people who are curious.
Nice. Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah.
What does your husband do?
He's a design director in the action sports industry.
Okay. And how do you both connect on this level of consciousness? Do you both talk about it and both on the same page? Because I know my wife and I are on quite different pages generally. Yeah,
good question. Not always. We just had some really real conversations last weekend. We went away for a weekend and were reflecting on 10 years married and 15 years together, and really intentionally talking about what we want going forward in the future of our relationship and all of these things. And he is now on his inner work and healing and personal development journey. He's doing work with my coach. He just finished her men's group coaching program, and he has his own like spiritual coach that he works with one-on-one. And so he's early into his journey. I'm a couple years into it. And for me, it was interesting because it's been something I really have been wanting for him. And I've been, praying for us to be on a path together in the same direction. And now that he's on it, I have to be honest, like he's got a lot of energy. It's changed. He's stepping into his power. And I'm just not used to a lot of the behavior I'm seeing. It's all new for me. And so I had to go, whoa, okay, this is different. And he said to me, well, how do you think I felt when you started doing this a couple of years ago? I was like, what the hell? Who's this new woke person living in my house? Like, what the hell? So I think we're getting there. I think it's an evolution, and I definitely feel closer being able to talk about these things. Because when I was on my journey a couple of years ago, just starting out, just reading the books, just doing the coaching, he was kind of just eye rolling me and going, all right, settle down, like not into what I had to say, and thought it was way, way woo woo for him. And he was just not down. So now seeing that it took him a little while to get here, but he's joining me on this expansion, I'm excited. And I'm like, I'm ready for it. I'm ready to see now, like, what does a conscious relationship look like? Yeah.
And that's so good you had those conversations. I mean, that's just next level, and if both of you can get onto that same page, I can only imagine that will, I think that's where people are, there's a lot of divorce and stuff going on in this world today. And I think it's gone prolific in the next, since COVID. I feel like it's just gone a bit out of control. No one's sort of hanging in there together because it's easy now to just go your own way and do your own thing. And I don't think it's easy, actually. I can't imagine it's being easy, but and I think that's probably because people aren't consciously aware of themselves.
They're not awake yet to their own stuff. It's funny because we have an 8-year-old, and he will hear our conversations and our I have like 50 coaches. We have coaches for everything in our lives, and we have these conversations that are very like calm and conscious, but they might be disagreements. And now my son will even, he'll say stuff. So he'll coach us. So we'll be in the middle of a conversation. He'll be like, sorry, Mom, but you're just projecting on me because you and Dad had a fight. And like, I'm not going to accept that as my own. And he just does a full unpack of a coaching conversation for me. And it's pretty funny. We're just like, okay. He's kind of schooling us on it. Yeah.
That's so cool. No, I love it. Look, lovely chat and lots more we delve into. Going to wrap it up there. Where can people best reach out to you here, Dom?
Yeah, you can reach out to me at my company website's .connectllc.com. You can find me on Instagram at iamdomfarnan on the gram. And my website's also domfarnan.com. And LinkedIn as well, yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, thanks for a chat. And any parting words?
Awesome. No, thanks, Lee, so much. I really appreciate you. And I think I'll leave it there.
See you down under someday.
Okay. See you later. Have a good one.
Check it out, guys. thehiddenwire.com. Until next time, peace, passion, and purpose. See you soon. Thanks, guys, for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed what you heard. I hope you love what you're hearing. If you like this episode, guys, or any of the episodes that you're listening to here at The Hidden Why, please do me a favor by sharing it. You can share it with your families. You can share it with your loved ones. You can do that by using your favorite social media channels, using the icons on the platform that you're listening to The Hidden Why podcast. Also, guys, if you're a fan of the show, please connect with me. Connect with me at thehiddenwhy.com. I love to hear from you. I love to converse with the people that listen to this show to find out what they enjoy, what they don't enjoy, and perhaps if they have any questions or feedback for the show as well. You can stay up to date with all that I'm releasing here, guys. I do a solo show every Monday, a 3-minute thought every Thursday. I do 2 interviews a week on a Wednesday and a Saturday, and a book review every Friday. You can stay up to date with all that by subscribing to my newsletter at thehiddenwhy.com. Just enter your email address there, and also subscribing to the podcast on the platform that you choose to listen to your podcasts. You can also support the show, guys, by using the Amazon links at thehiddenwhy.com. So if you like books, you can get all the books that I review there, and anything else really that you like to purchase through Amazon. So use that link, it helps support the show. And we've also got a deal with Audible, guys. Audible is a fantastic way to listen to all your favorite books. We've got a deal with them so you can get 2 free books when you subscribe subscribe to a 30-day free trial. So check that out again at thehiddenwhy.com. Guys, that's it from me. You know what to do. Go out there, breathe more passion into every single moment. Do everything with greater purpose, and in doing so you will discover your hidden why. This is The Hidden Why. My name is Lee Martinuzzi. Until next time, peace, passion, and purpose. See you soon.